are going to be able to have a Q&A for the next, it's short, we have 2 rounds of Q&A. Right now we're going to have Dr. Molly and we're going to have Edie on the stage. So if you've got questions for either of them, we're going to take a few minutes for Q&A. If you don't have a question and you need to stretch, please stretch, hydrate, and come right back, because you do not want to miss. Dr. Gina Pritchard is coming, Dr. Mary Parady's coming, and we have just so much more to go through. Ladies, let's come on up on the stage. So right now, Molly, come on up. Edie, and myself. There's 3 of us. Yes, it's a mini panel. So we were going to try to wait till the end, but we wanted to make it more applicable to what was happening right there. Where did the other mic go? I'm missing a mic. Oh, it's right up here. Sorry. All right, who's got a question? First one up. Yes, my dear. Fasting?
Yeah, I'm ready for that fasting. At least 16 to 18 hours a day.
Uh-huh.
Is good on a daily basis.
Fasting 16 to 18 hours a day is good on a daily basis.
That window of 8 hours to eat.
Okay,
Right?
great.
So
So we want to know if that's actually
accurate.
Yeah, Dr. Molly, do you want to take that one first? I definitely have an opinion on that, but we'll let you start.
So I used to really think that fasting was universally good, but I realized that you have to be really careful with it, because we don't live in primitive times anymore where there was intermittent stress. We live in a time of consistent chronic stress. So I look at mitohormetic stressors like fasting, cold plunge, sauna, HBOT, all the things that everyone's recommending. You can totally burn your body out by having too many mitohormetic stressors. So you have to balance this with, like, you have to really listen to your body and find out what does your body need. Now, if someone is insulin resistant and has a high fasting glucose, they are going to benefit dramatically from fasting, because what does fasting do? It lowers your fasting glucose. It improves your liver insulin sensitivity. But if you have a healthy insulin sensitivity to begin with, you may not need to do more fasting, because you could actually end up in relative energy deficiency, and you don't want that. So it's all about looking at your metabolic issues. And like, for example, I had high fasting glucose in 2014. Fasting was one of the main tools that I used in my toolbox. But do I do as much fasting now? No, because my fasting blood sugar is like 85. So I don't need to do as much fasting. On top of that, I do see a lot of people that are highly stressed out that have high fasting glucose. The solution to a highly stressed fasting glucose is lower the stress levels. It's not add another stressor. So it's really important to understand the fundamental mechanisms of why you're doing something, and not just blindly trust what you hear in the media, but recognize that fasting is a tool, and it's a phenomenal tool for problems like fasting, high fasting blood sugar in a low stress state.
And what I would add to that is, yes, can I add this really quickly, because it might add to it. So it's knowing if you're stressed, right? So measuring, looking at your blood sugar, looking at your resting heart rate, looking at HRV, that's already going to give you an indicator as to what the stress load on your body. As Dr. Molly is saying, you don't want to add another stressor if you're already stressed. And if you are, there's over 100 ways to fast. And I always say, just like Dr. Molly said, for what reason, right? It's not just fast to fast. But if you are going to use intermittent fasting, then default to the best approach is circadian fasting, to do it during the light phase of the day, because you are already more metabolically active. You'll have a healthier metabolic response to it to work with the body versus against it. Fuller meals during the day, lighter meal at night, because we have a higher glucose response in the evening versus the morning. And okay, are we good with that? Okay, great. And we're going to try to get to everybody. Okay, we got, yes.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So I have a patient who has menopause. She's in her 50s. She travels for work. She's in different time zone. We've cleaned up her diet. She's filled Ozempic, Mounjaro, and every GLP-1s out there. I can't move her body. I suggested the circadian rhythm, sunshine. Does that even help? Where do I go?
Dr. Molly, you want to start this one?
Sure. Okay, so you have clocks. As she mentioned, there's clocks in every cell. And these clocks are synchronized by light and food. And so the reality is that consistent circadian rhythm disturbances is terrible for metabolic health. Shift work is terrible for metabolic health. I had to tell a doctor in the ER, look, your night shifts are ruining your health. And you can't follow all the things in my book and expect to get a result if the thing that is the problem is the circadian rhythm disturbances. Now, I do have clients that have to travel a lot, and there is a hack to traveling. So fasting on flights and getting on the new time zone. But I mean, like, look, if you're doing transatlantic travel and you're in first class, like, you're going to want to eat the food. You have to train yourself to say, I'm not going to eat the food and I'm not going to drink the alcohol. It's really hard, especially when someone's handing you, like, you know, caviar. So basically, I do recommend that if you are going to get the biggest bang of your buck and avoid jet lag, you have to fast the entire flight. And you eat it. The thing is, you eat a meal on the regular time scale before you leave. And then you get on the flight and you do not eat until the next meal time on the next time zone when you're on the ground. And then you also ensure that you ideally try to get rest on the flight, stay hyperhydrated on the flight with electrolytes. You want to get really hydrated. And then you want to exercise outside in the light in that new time zone. Those two things are going to regulate your body into the new time zone. Now, I've had friends who are like very serious entrepreneurs traveling around the world, and they said this gave them a month of their life back by just learning how to do this kind of circadian and meal timing during travel.
Yeah.
And why during the flight? Why?
So your body is under a lot of stress in air travel. There is dirty air, there's crappy water. Frankly, the food, unless you're flying, Emirates, like, it's not very good. Even most food in first class is pretty garbage food, and it's been microwaved. I mean, you're just you're in a contained environment that just doesn't have good air, good water, and frankly, it's stressful on the microbiome. Like, your microbiome is like, where am I going? What am I doing? So what you want to do is you want to take the stress off the digestion, and you want to give your microbiome a pause, because it doesn't know what time it is. Yeah. Your microbiome the cells in your gut know what time it is by the hormone signals from light and from food. So if you deprive them of light and food on your flight, which, I mean, close the windows as well, what you're doing is your body doesn't know what time it is. And so it's literally like suspended animation. And so when you land and you get on that new time zone and you get on the new light cycle, the clocks turn back on and you're like, oh, this is what time it is.
So the easy answer is yes, circadian timing matters. And so again, syncing up with that light dark cycle as much as possible. And just simple principles to that, which we didn't really get to go into, is that your internal environment should mimic the external. Meaning, right, like indoor, if it's night and you got all the blue lights on, you have messed up your clocks. You're not going to sleep well. So when the lights go down, the sun goes down, the lights go down in the house, kind of thing. Very basic kind of stuff from a common sense standpoint, right? And so as she gets off that plane and can sink into that new circadian cycle. But yeah, you'll learn more about that in the course too. Yeah, for sure. Great question. Okay, I've got a couple over here, and I know I had one back there. I'm coming to you next, my dear. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Dr. Molly, my daughter at 45 just found out that she is pregnant, and she's very concerned about having a healthy baby. One of the things that she was trying to find out is, supplements. She wants to start on supplements. Then, of course, she's expecting her glucose levels to increase, which I'm not sure, if you have any recommendations for her.
Totally.
Thank you.
There's a really great book called Real Food for Fertility and Real Food for Pregnancy. And so I am a absolute maniac when it comes to food sourcing. I mean, I literally talk to my fishermen in Alaska, and I'm like, tell me about where you catch the fish. I talk to the farmers who get the grass-fed meat that I eat, and where do the cows roam? I talk to the dairy farmers who make completely raw dairy. I'm like, tell me about your cows. Like, I literally talk to the people who grow the eggs. I have relationships with the farms where I get my vegetables. Like, I am a maniac when it comes to sourcing. Your biggest chance of living a long and healthy life is, number one, your food. Your food matters. And we eat way too much processed food. Processed food is poison. It is clearly damaging our cells. It is clearly causing our immune systems to become dysregulated. It's causing so many problems with mitochondrial function. And so your food is fundamental. However, our soil is getting depleted. I'm very fortunate. I live in Jackson, Wyoming. So I have, frankly, incredibly pristine environments and water and air, but that's not for most people in America, right? So what can you do? If I were pregnant at 45, and I do plan on getting pregnant in the next 5 years, I would get the NutrEval test, and I would optimize my nutrient density And supplementation is not the worst thing to do in pregnancy. You just want to make sure you get enough iron. You want to make sure you have enough B vitamins. Pregnancy is a highly metabolically taxing event. You are literally converting your body's cells into another human. Like your body is going to deplete your fat stores, and it's going to deplete it's naturally designed to literally pull minerals and vitamins and fat and protein from your body to make another human. Like this is a thing, right? So your metabolic requirements go up. Now, you're not supposed to gain more than 35 pounds in pregnancy. That's not common, and unfortunately, most people are getting too much weight in pregnancy. So you have to manage your weight. I would put a blood sugar monitor on. I would be tenacious about my food and my blood sugar, because you don't want to end up with you don't want to end up with gestational diabetes, and you don't want to end up struggling with having to deal with high blood sugar levels, and that can lead to in a child or a baby that's too big and that's set up poorly for metabolic health. Your fitness levels during pregnancy are really important, because your fitness activities are programming your children's metabolism. So you have to stay active. Absolutely have to stay active. It's so important. Technically, it is a high-risk pregnancy, but I know plenty of women who've had children in their 40s and have had healthy babies. But very importantly is after you have that baby, you need to replete your body. A lot of women miss this. This is a huge problem. We do not pay attention to postpartum, and all these women are completely depleted. They don't have enough nutrients in their body, and they're wondering why their hormones are completely out of whack. I've had plenty of friends that have completely fallen apart after pregnancy. I don't think we do a good enough job really managing postpartum. I don't think we treat women like they deserve to be treated, where they deserve lots of time off to heal. You're not going to feel normal for like a year after. So there's a lot we can do. There's actually a book on biohacking your pregnancy that I'm co-authoring, and I'm happy to send you a PDF version of it.
I mean, I'm so sorry, gang. We're way past time, and we have to keep it going. So
I'm here all day.
Yes, Dr. Molly is around, Edie's around. We are going to do one more panel towards the end, and so if you guys are able to stay for the next one, we'll have time. We just have to cut questions now. Hey, hi guys, how are you, Mr. John and Dr. Darren? All right, ladies, thank you both so much.